Hello, my makeup loving friends. How's it going? Welcome back. Or if you're new here, hello, my name is Teresa. I again have a new fabulous, up showing me again, or showing me up again face. And it's the fabulous Susie. If you are interested in following Susie, for the love of God, please do. She's over on Instagram. And if you're looking for general creative makeup and inspiration, she is the account to follow. Go look at it down
That's
in
me.
the description box. Follow her in the nice way. But you know the drill. It means we are talking about the new makeup this week, and it's a week worth of the makeup that you wanted to discuss. But I have nothing to talk about if you guys didn't tag me. So big thank you to Brianna, Beth, Gillian, Miss Charlie, Transtopia, Makeup Release Radar, Missa, Sarah, Sue, Rhea, Claire, Sink, Yasmin, Jenny, JW, Ilya, Kelsey, Flick, Laurie, Emily, Nissa, Franca, Megs, and Natalia Yvonne. A massive thank you to my Patreons, and a very happy birthday to both Della and Kezia.
Happy birthday.
I need to remember to send you on your birthday cards. I'm very disorganized right now. I'll do that tomorrow, which is in the past while you're watching. Time is not linear. We do have a theme this week, and in general traditional fashion, I've obviously fucking ignored it because honestly, lads, just be thankful I edit this. Really is all I'm saying. But the lovely Daniela actually messaged me last week and she was like, could you do colourful grunge, please? And I was like, okay. I mean, not me personally, but I'll put it on to releases and rants. Like, that's grand. And I thought to myself, do you know what? That'll really suit Susie while she's on as well. So our theme is colourful grunge, but I was like, maybe with a little pop of neon.
Which I've tried to do my best neon.
Oh,
Lots of neon pigment.
I need to get people on with me that are like not talented. I don't know how to say that politely. I'll get Sahil on with me for like, can I eat this? He'd be the person who'd be like, oh, those Winky Lux Applebee lip glosses are fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Let's not rehash.
2022 is done and we're now into February. I'm going to show you my Patreon's looks right now. I'm Irish, so I don't get this whole Superbowl, NFL. I know about, the halftime show, and I know about all the stuff that, well, not all the stuff, but I know like how big of a deal it is to be asked. And Rihanna was asked to do the Super Bowl halftime show this year. She's obviously attempting to capitalize on that because Fenty Beauty is doing, I want to say a collection, but it's not really either for the NFL. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's not really either is it's a lot of repackaged stuff. Let's be 100% real. There's the Showstopper kit, which is €91, a €105 value. Now, I initially looked at this and I thought, oh, that bag is kind of cute because I thought it was like green. It's not. It's a transparent bag, which made me very sad. There's a gloss bomb in Fenty Glow, which I think everyone fucking has at this point, an Invisimatte blotting powder, a mini Hydra Visor SPF 30 moisturizer, a Butter Drop whipped oil body cream sample packet, not the full thing, just a sample, no more than that for you, a deluxe Fenty Eau de Parfum sample, and a Showstopper makeup sponge. Like, how do you have the audacity to charge €91 for a whole thing in which two of your items are samples?
Right. They're not even full-size items.
My brain, because like, do you not get samples for free, or is that not what happens? Because that's normally what happens.
Normally, yeah. I mean, I used to work for Lush, which, obviously is not at all the same company, but we would give free samples to people, if they were interested in a product and they didn't want to buy an entire thing, we would give them a sample of like a hand cream or something like that. It wasn't enough to sell. Certainly, it was probably like 5-10 grams, maybe, not a lot, just tiny little tub. Who does she think she is?
I feel like Rihanna's really lost touch in the last year and a half.
Well, if the $500 eyeliner or whatever the hell it was, lipstick, the diamond encrusted lipstick, or was
In
not
the,
proof enough of that.
in the words of my Lord and Savior, Dolly Parton, it takes a lot of money to look that cheap, apparently.
Mm.
I don't get this. Like, this is so, like, if you're doing this thing, I understand why she's putting in a gloss bomb because fucking everyone loves the gloss bombs, but come out with at least something new.
Right.
Like, that's also, can I talk about that stupid makeup sponge?
Oh, I hate it.
She's trying to sell that alone for €20.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Please, down below, has anyone spent €20 on a makeup sponge? On a singular makeup sponge? I haven't. I'm an idiot.
I can tell you that I have not spent anywhere near that much. I usually go for the e.l.f. sponges because A, I've really only started getting into base makeup within the last 8 months or so. And B, what's the difference? A sponge is a sponge. Like, I get some are better than others, of course, but why would I want a football shaped sponge? And how would it be used? I don't like there. It's rounded at the ends, at both ends, much like an American football is. You know, it's true to the shape of what a football is, but what would you use it for? You can't use it under the eyes. I mean, I guess all over your face, but why would you want a separate sponge?
Even then,
right.
The shape of it is going to be really fucking weird. And like €20 for a sponge, in my mind, is insane because sponges are the things that you do have to replace on the regular.
Oh, yes.
They're nasty, love. Nasty. Who in their right mind is buying a €20 sponge? That's part of why they're saying that, whole big collection, the showstopper thing, is €91 and it has €105 value. They're saying it's because of that fucking €20 spot. Fuck off.
This is the face of disbelief.
It's ridiculous. She also has like mini gloss bombs and they have like a little keychain and they look super cute,
They do.
I'm not against that, but I do think like €15 is lightly taking the piss for existing shades.
Right.
The only new thing that she actually has is the gloss bomb in Showstopper, and that's €24. That's literally the only new thing that she has.
I mean, it's pretty, I guess, if you're into, it's the nude shade, right?
It's like a pinky, it's like pinky toned,
It's pretty enough, but I'm not moved by any of it, that's for sure.
I don't get it. Like, could she not have done, I know she's done like a green fucking palette before, which was not great for that price, by the way. I feel like her eyeshadow formula is bad. But do you know what she should have done? In my opinion, right? Her Lips Donna paints are spectacular, right? She should have come out with a dark khaki green, muddy brown, and a deep, deep black.
Yeah, she's got, for like her Fenty lipstick, she's got like that beautiful purple, and she's got like a coral color. Uncensored is like the most beautiful red in the history of reds. It's not like she doesn't have the ability to create these beautiful different colors, and who doesn't want an alternative to He Who Shall Not Be Named and others who create, interesting lip colors. She really could have capitalized on it.
This is what I'm saying. Wouldn't that have been such a cool campaign? You can imagine all of these models in the big, American football apparel, and they have the like really bold, fucking fierce liquid lipstick. Maybe they've smeared it here as well, and they're just like staring down the camera. That'd be amazing. I feel like that would go really, really well. And yet, this is what we've got.
It's a pass for sure from me. That's a hard pass.
I don't even think they're coming to Europe with this. Don't bring this nonsense to us. Like, we have enough shit going on over this side of the world, right? Don't bring this to us. We don't need weirdly shaped sponges.
Not only is it not going, we don't want it over across the pond. Let's not, okay? Let's not.
I feel like bits of this are going to end up in maybe our TK Maxx and year TJ Maxx.
Right. Oh, I'm sure of it. I'm absolutely certain of it. Because there's already, doesn't Maddie always talk about finding Fenty at TK Maxx?
Yeah.
And we know how much he loves Fenty and like REM Beauty and stuff like that. And he's always finding that stuff there.
I feel like that brand, like this brand, Fenty, peaked, and they haven't been following the stuff that is actually interesting to their brand, and they're a bit tone deaf.
I mean, she did come out with the ketchup collection. I know, I shouldn't have brought it up. We all still have PTSD over the ketchup.
But some of the worst collections of 2020 came from Fenty. And 2021 with that stupid lip gloss in the little plastic clippy case.
I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it.
This is what I'm saying. This is the same one who does like amazing liquid lipstick formulas. You know, she has really great diverse range of shades. The easy drops are meant to be fabulous. And yet she comes out with this
That's what I've heard.
Explain. Because I'm confused. Riri, please send notes on a postcard to explain yourself. She's like, no, I checked out of this years ago. That's what I think. She just doesn't. Fair enough, like, you know, if you've made your bank, why not? When I showed it to you guys and I showed you that weird can't be bothered anymore collection, 8% of you loved it, while 6% of you recognized that you had some of the products already. When I showed you the new gloss bomb, 12% of you loved it. And then when I showed you the little mini glosses, 12% of you loved it. So I feel like she's really not doing great these days in terms of currying favor. This, however, I think this is really cute. This is Lethal Cosmetics and it's their new charity collection. So they have 4 different palettes. There's the Rescue, the Nature, the Ocean and the Wildlife bundle, and they're each €30.60. But if you don't want to get like the bundle, the pre-made bundle, you could get the singles, and the singles are €7.50 each, and you could have a magnetic palette which is like empty itself for €8. So if for instance you wanted all of the marbled shades, you could get 2 of the palettes themselves and just put all of the marbled shades into that. Now 100% of the profits are donated to 4 different charities, each kind of concerned with the themes of the palette. So there's the Humane Society International, there's the Defenders of Wildlife, Cool Earth and Oceana. I'm totally here for them putting 100% of the profits into,
absolutely,
like, you know, and we don't have a lot of indie brands here in Europe, so I like seeing them do well. I think their quality is great. I think the packaging looks really cute, like the little puppies, the little monkeys, that
no,
like I'm here for it. I will say I think the palette that I would be the most interested in is the green, not just because I fucking love green, but I feel like that's the one that you could kind of do the most with. But the rest of them, I mean, they're not bad at all. The like brownie one, the wildlife one, is deceptive. There's like that shade up in the top left hand corner that has that really interesting almost duochrome shift. I think that looks really pretty.
I know you've said it before, and I'm kind of along the same thinking. I don't love marbled shades because you never know exactly the color that it's going to come out. You know, you hope, like, I wish that you could make a marbled shade that would actually look marbled on the eyelid. I think that would look really cool. I know that's not really possible, but, you know, when they do these amalgam of shade, like colors within the one pan, it just makes me wonder what's it going to look like. Like in that blue one, there's like pink or red and blue and like a light turquoise. You know, is it going to pull purple? What's happening here? I don't like the swatch. Is the swatch actually what it looks like? I don't trust people.
And is that swatch always going to be consistent?
Correct.
Like that is part of what, like, I think when I look at marbled shadows, the way that my brain thinks of it is you couldn't be bothered to fully mix the shadow, so you've left it to us. It's me being a dickhead, like, properly. But I just don't love the marbled shadows because I don't know what I'm getting from them. You could just pull a little bit too much of a brown in one shade, and then that's going to make, you know, maybe the eye look more warm or more cool tone depending upon the undertones. And I mean, it's impossible to get your eyes to be fully symmetrical, but you want to at least have the tones and the colors matching. And that would kind of kind of bug me.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, they're cute, don't get me wrong. And I've heard the lethal formula is really good. I've never tried them before just because they are a little on the pricier side. And because they're not US based, it's like the shipping is so expensive. So, I always kind of pass on it. Again, this collection personally is not for me. It is very cute. I love the idea behind it. I'm always all for, humane society, um, stuff like that. We donate when we can to local like SPCAs and whatnot, but I won't be picking any of these up personally.
Yeah, I feel like when I saw this initially, my first thought was not lethal. My first thought was actually color pop.
Yep,
Like I thought of, I think about 2.5 to 3 years ago, Colourpop came out with an Animal Crossing collection,
I
and
remember.
this was the first thing that came to my mind that I went, oh, are Colourpop doing this again? And then it was like, no, this is actually Lethal. I was like, oh shit. I mean, obviously, you'll get better quality with Lethal. I like their quality, but I don't have everything that they have done simply because sometimes I find with their pre-made palettes, sometimes the color stories kind of confuse me a little bit. And I go, don't really know what I would do with those particular colors together. At least here I can see a coherent color story and it makes sense to me. But I'm not the person that can make a look with four shadows. I
Right.
am either no makeup right now or balls to the walls, like fucking insane makeup. That
Mm-hmm.
gets me money off of my popcorn at the cinema. True story. True story. Um, but for me, I don't think I could justify getting a quad, even if it is like giving money to charity. I don't think I could justify getting a quad for €30, 60, because that's by the way with the 15% off. Um, because apparently it was meant to be 36 otherwise. Yeah.
Mm,
For me, I'd sooner just put the money straight to the charity.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like it's not for me. I think it's totally fine. The quality will be there. I just, yeah, I couldn't see what I could do with these. It seems like a lot of you guys thought this as well. When I showed you the Rescue Charities palette, which is the purple one, 23% of you loved it. When I showed you the Ocean one, which is the blue one, 27% of you loved it. The Nature one, 29% of you loved it. And the Wildlife one, which is brown, 18% of you loved it. This was a bit of an oopsie daisy. Not just that the palette itself feels like a bit of a mistake, but because Look Fantastic did a boo-boo, it seemed, and they released this on their website and they put it on sale on their website and then they went, oh fuck, oh no, and now it's off their website again. So they had premature release, but it's okay.
Seems to be a common problem.
Look, it's all right. Look fantastic. If you go to your GP and you talk about it, it's a very common problem. Sometimes it can be down to stress, down to diet, general genetics. Just go and talk to them about it. Nothing to be ashamed of. But I feel like Natasha Denona should be ashamed of this, in my opinion. For the last 3 years, every Valentine's Day palette that she has come out with, the last 2 years it was 2 5 pans, and the year before that it was the midi palette, the 15 pan ones. But they have all been the exact same tones, the purpley pinky. And I mean, it's between Huda and Natasha as to who loves purple pinks the most. For me, this palette, the fact that, yes, the 5 pan is really cute, and if they did the little 5 pan for like €20, I'd be like, okay, why not? But they're doing that along with the blush and the highlighter, and all of that together is €62.95. And I could not
No.
justify that.
Who is that highlighter going to suit?
Well, not me.
Not me either. It's going to be far too dark. And the blush doesn't seem to go with the highlighter. The blush
No.
is real light and the highlighter is pretty dark. So who is supposed to wear both of those? And then, I mean, there's a little bit of depth in it, not as much as I would like. And there's only one shimmer, which fine, okay, but what can you do with that? You're going to use it all over, you're going to use it for inner corner and brow bone and on the lid. What do you, unless you decide to do an all matte look, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but there's not a lot you can do with this.
That's the thing, you're very, very limited. And I'll also say, of all of the formulas to make, mats are the cheapest. So why the price tag? Like, it seems, I know she's done these before. She has two other ones. One is like a more neutrally one, and I think the other one is like more of a cool toned one. This just feels like she made a decision years ago that anytime it would come up to Valentine's Day, she'd just go pink purple, that's it, that's all I'm doing. And I mean, that's fine, but do something a little bit different. I thought last week when she was doing the lipsticks, I was like, that's great. Great. You've just done this. Fantastic. Delighted to see it, that you're just doing this one thing. Thank you. And at least it's a little bit different. I am now worried that I'm going to see more shit coming out from Natasha. And I'm like, you are too expensive a brand to do the fast beauty thing.
I know. And I feel like so many brands are starting to jump onto that. They feel like they need to just release. And everyone's like, please, just for the love of God, stop. Please stop. It's too much, and then there are people out there that feel like they need to keep up with the Joneses. So they're just, if they're on YouTube, they feel they have to buy all of the newest stuff because they have to stay relevant. And it's like, you don't have to. Yes, I understand the need to stay relevant. I mean, everyone wants to feel that way, but it's just not fiscally possible.
No, I mean, it's fine for the people who are on like PR or whatever. I mean, for a lot of smaller YouTubers like myself, because I have a Tina Tana channel, I couldn't go around buying everything. And like, I have little to no behavioral inhibition. Like, I'm just like, I like, I want, I get. I'm working on it a lot over the last couple of months. I feel like, and Anastasia Beverly Hills did this, where they got into trouble a few years ago, where they were at the height of their fame. They were doing really, really well. They were a really luxe brand. People would save up and get their bits. But then they just came out with palette after palette after palette. And people were pissed off because they're like, you're doing too much. This is too much. And I think if you're that expensive of a brand like Natasha Denona, you shouldn't be coming out. The fact that I talked about a release last week of Denona, and about 3 weeks before that, I talked about another release. This kind of a brand should not be releasing that frequently.
It's too much. It's too much.
But do you know what? Because they're doing too much too quickly, this is why we're getting stuff like this, which is bland and not thought through. I like Natasha Denona stuff. I wouldn't have the amount of stuff of hers that I have unless I liked her. But I have really felt over the last couple of months, it's just been a phoning it in sort of a situation, and it kind of irks me. This is the Rants bit of releases and rants.
I feel like there will be lots of ranting this time. Lots of ranting.
I mean, to be fair, you'd have to be ranting to go off and buy this. I'm sure this probably will fit a couple of skin tones. Maybe people who have like a medium skin tone. Maybe that's who that would work for. I'd love to see it swatched on those sort of skin tones on the face, because I always find that if these are face products, right, them on the arm is one thing, but how is it going to leave a horrible cast? And that's not what you want to see. I'd like to see these actually being used on people, just because I'm nosy. I'm not going to go off and buy it. Like, if it was maybe 50% off.
Oh yeah.
Then I'd think about it. I'd be like, oh, okay, grand, I'll do that. Not for €62. Like, no. I do think it'll do well though, because it's Valentine's Day, and that somebody's partner is going to run into like Sephora or Ulta or wherever that Natasha's being sold, and they'll just panic and they'll go, oh, it says love on it. I love my partner. I get. oh yes, pretty pink tones. And look, it has a blush and a highlighter. Because, particularly men, if it's a man who's going to go and buy it, they're like, oh, it's great. It's a multi-purpose. It does all of the things. Because they are the ones who do the 2-in-1 shampoos. Like, fuck off. Right?
My husband's one of them.
So is mine. Setting, right? So I think this is going to be the product that a cisgender man, straight man, is going to buy. This is one of the panic fuel on the 13th of February. That's my thoughts on that. And I think Natasha knows it. And, the man will be like, it's expensive, must be good.
Mm-hmm.
Is it though? When I put it to you guys, 20% loved it, and 45% of you said it feels like their last few Valentine's Day releases. This next one, I mean, let's be real, everyone gets really excited whenever Beauty Bay comes out with something, and part of what I really appreciated about this is their Valentine's Day collection, and it is a complete departure from last year's, which was pinky purpley tone. Natasha, are you listening? You can do a Valentine's Day palette and not have it be pinky purpley. This is Beauty Bay's Retro Love palette, which is available now. It's €17. Part of what annoys me is when you go onto Beauty Bay's website, they're very bad at selling their own products, in the sense of they give the fucking worst swatches known to man. That's not going to sell me, but I know their formula is really, really good. That's what's getting me. I like these particular color stories. I think there's very much like a little bit of grunge, but a little bit of like pastel freshness in there, which I think is really, really interesting. A couple of people pointed out to me, and I can see it now that I'm looking at it, Martine Cosmetics has a palette called Diner. I can actually see that there is some similarity between that palette and this. It's not a dead-on dupe, but I could see how some people were kind of going, oh, it reminds me a little bit of this. I quite like this.
It's really pretty.
Yeah.
It has enough variation and enough deep, middle, and light tones where you can make a complete look. It doesn't have to be a companion palette. And like you said, I mean, Beauty Bay quality.
A Beauty Bay quality for those sort of prices. Like, this is where we need to say to the cisgendered straight men, you know how you think that we want Natasha Denona? We don't. We want this. We want shit like this. Or maybe it's just me. I don't know. I think the price of this is really, really good. I do get a bit miffed with Beauty Bay. I bought it yesterday, so on the day that it launched. And they have this thing where they're like, oh, if you buy before 12, which I did, you can get next day delivery if you spend X amount. And I did, because I'm an idiot, and I was like, I'll buy a whole chunk of things that I don't need but want, including a Linda Hallberg blush duo, because that's been on my list for ages, the MAC Strobe foundation, because I fucking want to try that, Suva's Hydra metallic,
yes,
and some acne dots from Peace Out, because
yeah.
So because I had such a big order, they were like, oh, you spent over this much, so you can get express delivery. Didn't even get dispatched until like maybe an hour ago, when other people have already gotten theirs in the UK. But they're like that. If you don't have a UK address, they're like, fuck you. Our order when we get to it. That, if it was any other company, right? If Pat McGrath does that to me, I'm like, fuck you. I'm no longer buying from you. But I hate them because they keep me coming back. They're like literally like stepping on my throat and being like spitting in my face, and I'm like, more please. Like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I in this relationship? I love them so much, but then sometimes the love is not returned. Like, I know,
but the quality is good.
That's the thing, like the quality, the price, like I know it's going to be good. I don't have any questions about that. Like, I am, like, once I'm finished filming, I'm just going to go and sit outside next to my post box, because I got the dispatch email and I'm like, it will come. I wonder, can I cancel my lectures for tomorrow? Like, I mean, I can't because I need to stay employed, but like, I find this interesting. Is it the most interesting thing that they've done? No, I don't think so. I think Dark Fantasy was a lot more interesting than this. And I think obviously they're like Midnight, Earthy, and Berries were like top tier. Very difficult to kind of beat yourself when you've done that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is nice. And again, like I said, the fact that this is a Valentine's Day release, but it isn't the expected Valentine's Day release, I think they'll do well just on the fact that it isn't pinks, reds, purples, loves, beer,
It's got a lot of spring colors in it, which I really like because it's springy without explicitly being springy.
Yeah, it's a bit of Easter to this.
A little bit, but I'm kind of here for it.
I mean, the days are getting longer.
Mm.
I'm already seeing the chocolate Easter eggs are in Tesco. And I'm like, it's getting to the point where they're cheaper than actual eggs. So I'll just have those instead. So I like this. I think this is interesting. I have obviously bought it. I've just told you I've bought it. Keep an eye out on my channel. I will be doing much beloved face swatches.
Yes.
I know this wasn't to everyone's taste because it is a little bit more of an unusual colour story, but I will say at least they're not fucking duping themselves. Obviously, they sneak peeked us before, kind of going, here's the outside. When I showed you that, 38% of you said that you were excited. And then when it was actually revealed, 41% of you loved it. This was weird. The Valentine's Day collections are odd and confusing to me, partly because I don't get the whole Valentine's Day thing. But this is from Kimchi, and these are the Spinning Heart Eye Duos. They are available now. There's 13 duos in all. They're $8 each, but you could get all of them for $88. So that means that you are saving yourself $16. Missa, will you check to see if my math is correct? Yeah? Thanks, love. Thanks.
Not Teresa throwing shade.
Oh, I'm such a bitch today. It's great. Every so often the inner dickhead is awoken. Look, this is a cruelty-free brand, and I think some of the colors in themselves are interesting. Like the green pink duo, I like the idea of that. I think the pink isn't quite the right shade of pink to put with that
Right.
green. I would have put more of like a bright, almost neon-y pink with that. I also feel like if you green and pink together, which by the way, I love, one of my favorite palettes from last year was Angelica and Yikfist Hella palette, which had pinks and greens in it. And I loved that. Not against those particular color combinations, but I think it's very, very difficult to do that with just two shades. Like I literally wouldn't know what to do with just two shadows. When I saw this initially and I saw like particularly the nude shaded ones, I thought these were contour palettes.
I could see why. I feel like this is very like 2006 when nobody really did very elaborate makeup. You know, like eye quads were kind of a thing back then because that's all people were really, or not quads, duos were kind of a thing because that's what people were doing. Like I remember I had a Smashbox palette and it was like a trio. And it was a trio of nudes. It was like a creamy white color, a mid-tone brown, like a tan, and then a deeper brown. And that was nice because I have green eyes, so it worked. But like that wouldn't be enough for me now.
Yeah.
And this certainly isn't enough for me now. Plus, the packaging kind of weirds me out. I don't like the little eyes on them.
I can never really get Kimchi because like sometimes her stuff is like super kitschy and I don't really know what to do with it. I'm like, are you making stuff that's just like for kids or what is this? Because I'm gonna be a dickhead here. I am. This looks Claire's accessories to me.
You're not wrong.
Like
it looks
if you said to me, I've been to Claire's accessories, look at what I got, I'd say, God, I hope you didn't spend much on that. That's what it looks like to me. Granted, at least you're not going to get like a serving of asbestos with this, but like, it's just, I don't know. I don't get it. Like you said, it is kind of going back to, like, it does feel, to be fair, that the beauty community has gone back by about 4 years, which I don't want to talk about that. That's really weirded me out to a really significant degree. But are we going so far back that it is literally just like one shade of eyeshadow? Like, grand, if that's somebody's thing and that's what they want to do,
sure.
Be fine. But I feel like coming from a drag queen, I don't get it.
And especially a drag queen, how are you going to use just two shadows? You're not. There's no way. There's no way.
Like, unless she's banking on people buying the whole fucking thing. But even on that, if you look at the nude ones, I feel like there's a lot of repetition.
Oh yeah.
And like,
There's two that look almost exactly the same. There's
yeah,
actually more than that.
so I don't get it. I want to be like really there, and I want to be like, yay, kimchi, because I like kimchi, and the stuff that I have from kimchi I do enjoy. But because I can't figure out where she's going, like sometimes there's some interesting collabs, and then it's like, here's some kiddish makeup, and then there's this, and then there's that, and I'm like, but where are we going? What's happening? This is like Too Faced meets Claire's accessories.
And I'm sorry, but what is it? $8
Yeah, for a duo.
for each? For two shadows? That's kind of
Yeah.
expensive considering e.l.f. does quads for like $3, $4, something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I know e.l.f. is not top tier quality, but their quads are actually pretty decent.
I find the quads to be pretty damn good. Like the jalapeno one,
I
spectacular.
have that one.
It's fabulous. So like, I'd sooner go out and get an elf, which actually, by the way, the packaging looks much nicer than this.
It does.
Like, let's be like, you know, Elf's little groovy collection from last week. That was cute. I'd go with
It
that.
is cute. This looks like something I would buy my 10-year-old
Yeah,
for her to practice with.
I get very frustrated, right? Because I really like kimchi. I think kimchi is fucking hilarious. I think she's absolutely spectacular. And I really want to support her, but I'm like, I can't when you're doing this. Like,
No.
but I just can't figure out who this is for. When I
No.
put to you guys, 7% of you loved it, and 36% of you said, I don't know what to do with a duo. This one, I do like the swatches. It took ages for them to actually show the swatches of this, but once they did, I was like, fuck, I really like the look of this, which has pissed me off. This is Rants Cosmetics, and it's their Moonfall palette. It's available now as you're watching, or at least it was available. I believe it sold out pretty darn quickly, which I'm not that surprised about. So thankfully, I can't get it. Excuse me. It's $45, and basically they came out with their Moonfall eyeshadows initially in 2019, and they ended up being really, really popular. So what they wanted to do was take those shadows, reformulate them, make them a little bit better, and then make it as part of this like cohesive theme. And you can really actually see they've provided a picture here where you can see the old formula versus the new formula, and sweet Jesus, it's night and day. The new formula looks really, really good. These are my kind of color stories. I like very dark jewel tones. I like, you know, very extra sort of metallic-y shimmers. This is beautiful, and I have stuff from Shroud Cosmetics. Like, I have stuff from Shroud Cosmetics. I got the Batty Bean palette from when it was initially launched, and it took a while to get to me because obviously they had issues back at the time, but they were very good and very transparent about what was actually going on. And that's part of why I kind of would support Shroud Cosmetics, because they weren't afraid about being transparent on these things. They have significantly increased the price though, because I think the Batty Bean palette was like $32 or something like that, and now this is $45.
But it looks like some of these might be duochrome.
Yeah.
Or most of the shimmers are. So I wonder if that's part of it.
It could
but
be.
Still though, usually collabs are more expensive because you're going to want to pay your whomever you're partnering with, because it's their idea and intellectual property and whatnot.
Exactly. And this isn't a collab. So
Right.
why is there that much of a difference? That being said, I love this color story. Like, love it.
I kind of really like what Missa calls the poopy green.
Oh, shut up. Because that's like deep. Like, obviously the shimmers I'm looking at and I'm like, that's nice. But that, like, you know, baby poo. You know, baby's first poo. That is fabulous. Like,
yeah.
I love those kind of khaki sort of almost warm toned greens. I think they're really interesting. I don't like the cool toned greens, like the bluey toned greens. They're not really my jam. I like more yellowy, warm toned. I love the mix of this. Do I think this is necessarily a standalone palette? No, because it's all so dark and deep. I'd have to come in with another palette to lighten things out. Considering it's called Moonfall, all of the shades would have to be dark. So like it makes sense. But I feel personally, if I'm going to spend $45 on a palette, I do want to have it kind of work by itself.
I agree, especially from indie brands. You know, they know they can do better because we've seen brands that do better. I mean, you know, we both have indie brand palettes that are not standalone. I just got the Ethereal palette, which I know you loved. It's not a standalone. It's all duo and multi-chromes, but you buy that knowing that it is a companion palette. This, again, you'll know that it is, but for how small it is, you would want it not to have to be a companion palette. You know, with the Batty Bean, those ones, they work well together, but you don't need to buy them together.
Yeah, exactly.
It is
Like
beautiful though.
it is. It absolutely is. This isn't me griping about the way that it looks. I actually think this is a very coherent color story. It makes sense to me. I think if it had even been $37.50, I'd have been like, do you know what, fair. I didn't end up getting it because I'm being sensible. It's a new outfit choice for me to be sensible. They did sell out really, really quickly. So let me know if you actually got your little mitts on it, because I will be finding where you live and robbing it. Because times are tough, my friends. When I put it to you guys, 45% of you loved it, while 32% said that you were waiting to see swatches, because we only really got swatches in the last day or two. Now we have Kosas, which I don't hear that much about Kosas, but it's one of those like, we're clean beauty clean, no, none of the nasties, none of the preservatives, none of the things that will make your face fall off. And it's like, well, do you know what, my love? Sometimes preservatives are great in makeup because it stops it from getting all moldy. Because when I was looking at this, the amount of comments underneath that were like, yeah, but they don't last very long. I bought stuff that had mold in it, and I'm like, fucking hell. It's like, what? Preservatives are not bad. Like, they've been tested. Like, breathe, chill the fuck out. It's fine. Particularly if it's stuff that's going on your face. You don't want to have stuff that doesn't have preservatives in it, because otherwise you're just like, here's some lovely, glorious bacteria.
If I had $1 for every person that came into Lush when I was working there and said, oh my God, you use preservatives, you use XYZ thing, and we tried to explain to them the science behind why they're being used and that they are perfectly safe and you can't believe everything that you hear, I would have been able to retire by now. And I only worked there a few short years.
I mean, technically salt is a preservative, you know? So
This is accurate.
So are we gonna stop putting salt on our food? Oh my God, you have preservatives and you're fuck off.
Parabens were the biggest one. Oh my God, you use parabens. Yes, because we don't want our stuff to expire within days, because we don't want bacteria.
But particularly, a lot of people would be putting those stuff into like their bathrooms. The perfect fucking environment for this sort of thing. Yeah, look, that sort of shit really annoys me. So this is kind of the footing that we're getting off to with Kosas. And this is their Glow IV. It's their vitamin infused skin illuminating enhancer. So it's a clean, I hate that fucking word because it's not protected and it doesn't actually mean anything, nutrient rich skin enhancer with a hint of tint for a reflective, healthy glow that gets noticed. Glow whenever you feel it. Okay, fair enough. Use all over as a targeted highlighter. Mix with foundation or with skincare. They say it's hypoallergenic and 91% natural origin ingredients. What about the other 9%, Kostas?
Where are those from?
Yeah, they're available now, and they do have a decent shade range. Like it's 10 shades, but because it's kind of more of a tint, that makes sense. And like the darkest shade is genuinely quite dark. It's $38. Like I was so confused by what this was. I was like, is this like a skin tint? Is it a... But you're also saying I can use it as a highlighter. I don't want to put highlighter all over my face. But then they're saying mix it in with foundation, but then mix it in with moisture. What is it?
I feel like this is kind of like how when e.l.f. came out with the Halo Glow, you know, the Charlotte Tilbury dupe, they had similar claims, oh, you can use it as a highlighter over makeup. You can use it as an all over glow under makeup. You can use it blah, 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 blah. So I think they're kind of trying to capitalize on the Charlotte Tilbury flawless filter or Hollywood flawless filter, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
kind of, dupe train, which fine, but it's not even that inexpensive. I don't know how much the Charlotte Tilbury is. I'm sure it's more expensive, but still, like, Elf is like $10.
And I like that one. I do. I have to mix it with other things because the lightest shade is too dark for me.
Just a smidge, just a pinch.
But I'm like, I'll make it fucking work. I'll make it work.
Mhm.
I do appreciate that, they've got a variety of models there so you can actually see it. And I like the idea of it. Like, it doesn't seem like it's a bad product per se. But I think if you're charging that amount for it and there's a possibility it could go off.
Yeah. I mean, all makeup expires at some point. Am I going to use expired eyeshadow anyway? Probably, because I spent money on it. But, obviously you do have to be very mindful. If something smells off and you can tell, don't use it anymore, please, because it will give you, a skin infection or an eye infection or something.
I will say, like, their pictures, they do look very nice. They are, like, Kosas as a brand, from what I have seen of them, it's all very like, we're natural, we go to the beach, we're beach babes. Like, kind of like what Becca was a couple of years ago.
R.I.P. Becca.
Yeah. And I get it. I think people are more into liquid items these days. I quite enjoy them. It's fine, but for the price, not so much. Preservatives aren't bad.
Science is good.
We
Science is a good thing.
When I put it to you guys, 6% of you loved it, while 36% said that you needed to see reviews. This is a newer brand. We talked about this maybe a month ago. This is Bunky Beauty. And can I just say, I am fucking loving this. This is their new blushes. They're super, super pigmented based upon those particular swatches, and they are available now. They are €13 each. €13. That's a fucking good price.
That's not bad at all, especially for indie brand. That is not bad.
Oh, I love even like the way that she's kind of grouped, say, the reds together, that you can see based upon maybe your undertone or your kind of the level of depth of your skin. You could kind of go, okay, strawberries no cream is going to work for me, or passion pink is not going to work for me. You can kind of figure that out based upon undertones and skin depth, and I appreciate that. The shades Sunflower and Orange Soda are just fabulous.
So beautiful. So beautiful. I kind of actually really like the Razzle Red too. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of think it's beautiful.
Isn't it though?
Probably too dark for me, but would I try it anyway? Yes.
Just shear it out with a bit of translucent powder on top. You'll be grand.
The Fire Coral is also really, really, really speaking to me. That is stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning.
Do you know what? Out of all of this, there isn't a single one that I'm like, meh.
No.
I think they're very strong.
Mm-hmm.
For the price.
And I think they could fit any skin tone, really. Like the purpley ones, some people would look like they've been punched, but other people would, deeper skin tones really look so beautiful in purples. I think it's just a very, very well thought out.
It is. Like, considering this is a brand that's really, really only come out in the last couple of months, I feel like they're building themselves up. And if this is a sign of things to come, if they come out with this sort of thing, maybe some interesting highlighters. This highlight is coming back. In my mind, it never went, but apparently it did. Like, fuck right off. But I think if they come out with some highlighters as well, like, and keep them relatively affordable, I'm liking the way that this is going. And do you know what? I'm going to say something else, right? Sometimes brands get a bit miffed with me. I have brands who kind of go, you just don't understand. You don't get the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, that's grand. Okay, I get it. This is your baby. You're a bit upset. But I talked about Bunky Beauty about a month ago and I said I didn't love what they were doing. And they commented underneath to say that they really appreciated any and all feedback.
That's maturity. And that's the sign of a good brand, when you can take constructive criticism, because you're never intentionally trying to be mean. Okay, maybe sometimes, but for the most part, not really, especially about brands that you know not much of. You know, you're not going to go after a small indie brand just to be a dick about it. You know, there's no reason to do that, but you kind of have to listen to that feedback to know what is the general audience feeling, what is the temperature in the room.
Yeah.
You know,
And
read the room.
that's why I so appreciated that that's what the brand actually did. They actually said, look, I so appreciate you putting this out so we can get some more constructive feedback. Brilliant. I think this is a sign of a brand that will, in my mind, do quite well if they have that sort of an attitude, rather than getting all precious about, oh my God, somebody's criticized this and they didn't love it completely.
I can't imagine to whom you might be referring.
It's very difficult to know. I will say, didn't love their last thing. It wasn't for me. This I do love. The price, perfect. The tones, spectacular. I think blushes
Beautiful.
are going to be the thing at the moment. I think we're not going to see as many eyeshadow looks. I think it's going to be all about the blush and the face and the complexion. And that price for an indie brand, yeah, love it. I have nothing negative to say. When I put it to you guys, 35% of you loved it, while 6% said that you're on a no or a low buy. And then the very last thing that we're talking about is KVD Beauty. And they came out with their Good Apple Balm Foundation about 2 years ago. They kind of broke TikTok at the time. Let's be real, people were doing ads, but not disclosing it. That would never happen on TikTok. But they're trying to capitalize on the whole Good Apple thing again, and this time they have their Good Apple Serum Foundation. They say that it's full coverage with a natural finish, which feels like a bit of an oxymoron to me, that you can have full coverage and have it be a natural finish. The two don't seem like they'd work in my mind.
I'm not sure how. I mean, the pictures, you know, they look like it's fairly skin-like, but full coverage does not tend to be.
Yeah,
so.
But they're also like pictures from the brand.
True. And we all know that brands Photoshop things.
They do not, Susie. They do not. How very dare you? No. Anyways, they say that it's going to cover everything from blemishes to acne scars, hyperpigmentation, discoloration, and more. And they then go on to say, you've never seen natural full coverage like this. They go on to say it has all of these things like apple extract to give you a serum-like feel, and it's transfer proof. It's pore blurring. If I hear one more fucking piece of nonsense about pore blurring, I will cry, right? There is no such thing that will actually blur your pores. Do you know what it is, lads? Do you know what it is? And particularly on the clock app, right? It's just people with shitty cameras and very good lighting, right? I probably look okay right now. My pores probably look okay because I'm under very harsh lighting.
But I've got a ring light and a regular light on right now. I mean, all I'm wearing is basically a skin tint. I know I still have texture and all, you know, things that are normal for skin.
Yeah. If we didn't have pores, it would be weird and creepy. That's why we have phrases like the uncanny valley. It would be weird. So weird to see that. It's not a bad thing, but they're totally capitalizing on this whole thing of like, you know, TikTokers being like, oh my God, look, it's blurring my pores. You can't see my pore at the top, blah, blah, blah. So they're like, here, that's our selling point. We'll go with that. But also it's full coverage, but also it's a natural finish, but also there's serums in it and there's this and there's that. And you're like, okay, there's a lot happening.
It can't be all those things.
It can't. It just can't. I do appreciate that at least the glass bottle is recyclable. I appreciate that. And there are 40 shades. It looks relatively inclusive. I think maybe they needed a few more extra dark tones
Right.
because it's not fully inclusive, in my opinion. Yeah, I am reserving judgment on this. Like the photos, like you said, they look fantastic, and I do like that they have very good inclusivity. Well, not very good, but decent inclusivity. They're all of a particular like there's no men in there.
Right.
In those pictures, which is a bit odd to me. I feel like this isn't going to work for me, because if it is a full coverage, right, I'm a 32-year-old woman who works in academia, and the reason why I say I work in academia is I have frown lines, which is me correcting things, kind of going, Jesus, did you not understand what I taught you? I'm so bad at my job, right? I have those lines. If I have a full coverage foundation, it becomes very pronounced. And I then start to think about, well, if nothing else, these can be used as trenches for the potato crop this year. And that's just not a useful line of thought for my brain to go down. So for me, I prefer more light to medium coverage. I find this a lot more flattering for me. My favorite foundations tend to be along those lines. And I will say the BAM foundation, it was so funny because when it came out initially, everyone was all over TikTok going, oh my God, it's the most amazing foundation. And then once the big influencers kind of did it, because let's be real, they were probably paid, then real people started trying it and kind of went, what's this? It had a lot of mixed reviews after that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to rush out and get this. I'm not going to trust anyone on the Clock app telling me, oh my God, it's the most amazing thing ever. I need to see an actual YouTube video on this of somebody going out, trying it in natural light. Otherwise, I'm not getting it, because these are expensive. Like, that's $42.
You can buy almost an entire Urban Decay palette for $42. Not that that's saying much of anything, but still, like, just...
Can I also add to that and say I would actually prefer to have this foundation than have an Urban Decay palette, thanks.
I mean, same, but I don't know. It's just, maybe it's because, I'm approaching 40 soon, and I have children and a mortgage and all of the adult things. I just find it very difficult to buy high end lately because I just don't see the value. I just don't. I never really understood the Charlotte Tilbury prices or the Natasha Denona prices or things like that. There was a time when Urban Decay actually used to be, cool. When I was into them. I did get a lot of their single shadows because they were really innovative and beautiful, and no one was really doing like the duochromes at that point. It was very different. But now I look at these brands and I just go, even though the Tattoo Liner by KVD is hands down one of the best, most budge-proof liners you will ever get, I still can't justify the price, and it was a firm favorite for a long time. I just can't justify spending that much on these. Especially, I mean, she's not with the brand anymore, but it started off as a celebrity brand. I just can't do it.
But I think that a lot of people are getting to that point now economically. And I think that's why a lot of brands are trying to do like what COSAS were saying before of, you can use it for this and this and this and this. So it's value for money. You can use it for lots of things. And I think it's going to be harder for a brand to sell these things at the moment, because where we used to splurge and be like, oh, I'm going to get this for a treat for myself, a lot of us can't do that anymore. So I think we're going to see, this is going to be a difficult time for a lot of brands anyway. But I feel like over the next maybe week or two, when I open my TikTok, because I do spend a disgusting amount of time on that, I feel like I'm going to see a lot of people being like, oh my God, this is the best foundation since that Maybelline bullshit. Like, is it really? Who paid you to say this? Like, please.
Oh, You mean like how the mascara is the best thing? I'm sorry. I had to. I'm sorry. I had to.
Look,
I'm not trying
we've all
I'm
been.
not trying to drag that person in particular.
No, but
Just
it's the general thing that's on that app of people not disclosing and being like, oh my god, I love this thing, and I'm like, do you though? Do you though? You actually genuinely love it? Do you? Mm-hmm. Grand if you do, but like, just be transparent. I don't like it when people
Mhm.
are being transparent. It's lying. It's deceitful. It pisses me off. I'm not gonna go out and buy this. If it was like
Mm-mm.
€25, I would
Right.
just for science.
Yeah.
But
Just to see if it goes well with your skin type or whatever. A lot of people said, it felt really oily. The original one felt really oily and they didn't like it. People with oilier skin tones, it's probably not good for them. I don't know if this is going to be the same. I guess probably.
yeah,
Um,
I think they had said like it's meant to be high performance where that stands up to sweat and humidity, and it's best for combo to oily skin.
we'll see about that. I would love for someone like Soph of Soph Does Life
Yeah.
to do a review on this because she's generally very honest about things. Even with brands that she loves, even with brands she's worked with, she will be honest when she does not like something, and she's been doing a lot more. Here's me with my studio lights. Here's me in natural light. Here's me outside, in the real world. And a lot of people are finding her to be much more trustworthy because of that.
But that's, I think, particularly when it comes to anything that's like base foundation, you need to see that outside of all of these lights. You do
Mm-hmm.
out in the real world, because otherwise, I do find it so funny though that they're like, oh, it's best for combo to oily skin, but it works for all skin types. But it can't though if it works best for, because oily is not the same as dry.
No, no.
Explain.
That's why there's different skincare products for different skincare needs. You can't just say this is good for everyone. That's not possible.
And now I have normal to sometimes dry, mostly normal skin, right? I'm quite lucky in that sense. I've very little effort except for the occasional, stress spot. So I don't feel like that would work for me if that's who they're saying this is for.
See, I have combination, like especially T-zone, very oily, tend to be oily right around my nose. I still wouldn't get it though, because
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust that it wouldn't make me oilier, even though I do prefer a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer. I know it's because it's not going to make me look older than I am and already feel, it's going to make me look like I'm still younger than I actually like to admit that I am. But I don't want anything to make me look like an oil slick. I don't want it, if it's got a little glow, fine. But if it looks like you've been in the sauna, not so fine.
Yeah. But this is part of I'm kind of wondering who exactly this is for, because is this meant to be then, because obviously if it's very, very full coverage, that's going to work best for younger people.
Mm-hmm.
What young person has $42 to spend on a foundation?
Rich kids.
Ugh, somebody called like bruschetta or something, Like grand bruschetta. Do you want to like adopt me? I can be your little pony or something. I don't know. Tell daddy you want a new Irish person. Anyway, it's not for me. I'm not very,
No.
yeah, like I have a lot of trust issues at the moment, is what I'm trying to say, and I feel angry on the inside. When I put it to you guys, 24% of you loved it, and 24% of you said that you were on a no or low buy. But my friends, that is it. We have trawled through the stuff from this week, but that does lead me to my favorite comment. And don't get me wrong, I love all of your comments every week. It always like excites me, but like when Robert Welsh comments on your video, you could have written fucking anything. Anything. You could have said, I will give you my kidney, and I'd been like, sorry, Robert Welch has said something. This is going to be my favourite comment. So in case you can't tell by that preamble, this was from Robert Welch, who said, "You two are both so kind, thank you, and also start working on a whole set of furniture, including a bed that you can't sleep on." I'm very excited, getting a new house, and Robert has agreed to make me furniture.
Congratulations on both counts, especially the house. So I'm very happy for you. It's very exciting. It's stressful because I've been through the process, but once you have a home that you can say is your own, it's such a great feeling. But again, mortgage.
Plus, when I have a new house, I'll have a lot more space. So I'm already planning. Susie, come over, hang out.
Yes.
I invite everyone at this point.
I've never been to Europe, so it would be a great way to kind of say, well, but I already have lodging.
Exactly. We can make it be a whole like sausage enabler people meet up.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. Anyways, my friends, that is it. That is the end of the video. Like I said, go and find Susie over on Instagram. Her pictures make me want to weep in the best way. You know, I look at them and I think, oh God, if I had talent, the things that I could do. But Susie has that talent, and she actually has the dedication to sit down and do shit. It's not just
only sometimes.
More than me. It's more than me. But do check out her Instagram, give her a like, give her a follow, engage with her content. It would be massively appreciated. And click on the subscribe here if you haven't subscribed to me, which weird. Why have you watched this whole thing and not subscribed already? Like,
seriously.
One of us has poor social skills, and on this occasion, it's strangely not me. But anyways, my friends, that is it. Do please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on that notification bell, and do please share, because sharing is caring, except, of course, for STDs, in which case, just wrap it up. Don't be gross. That's it. That's the end of the video, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!